at number 16,
Yeah.
quarterback Nick Foles of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, sir. Putting Big Nick right there.
Was his nickname part of the ascension? Because he was 33 last year.
He was. I know.
It's a massive jump.
It is a massive jump, but I think he did enough, And in that list where I had him at 33, that was made before he went on the Super Bowl run. Right, so I didn't do that, and I came back with a readjusted list last year, but we never got into the 20s, right? Just kind of did my top 20. So yeah, I think realistically going into last season, he probably would have been somewhere in the 20s. But yeah, I think from what I saw the last 2 years combined, yeah, I'm going to put Nick Foles right in the middle of the pack in the NFL right now. The biggest thing and his best attribute to me is his size. That's where I start with Nick Foles.
Are we talking about?
No, we're talking about actual man here. Yeah, the actual player, the quarterback. Yes. His size is truly his best skill. And I know you've heard me say it before. Size is a skill, and especially at the quarterback position. And that's where I go number one, because even this year, there were games where they didn't protect him all that great. He is so big and so unaffected by Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack being around him that he can throw with people around him as good as anybody in football. And, hey, the game is about throwing under pressure. Whether you're going to move from it or get the ball out of your hand quickly or be a dancer in the pocket to avoid it, you got to have something that helps you in those situations. Nick Foles, he just goes, I'm going to be fearless. I'm a huge 6'7" quarterback, and I don't care that people are getting pushed into my face. I'm just going to stand in there and make throws. And I think between that, he can make every throw. He's a good athlete. Again, like Jared Goff, he's below average athlete for 2019 quarterbacks. I mean, he's drafted in 1999, and we go, whoa, this guy's an exceptional quarterback. The bar has changed as far as that's concerned at the quarterback position. But we saw to win the game in Chicago, sprints out right, drops his arm down low, right, throws it underneath the armpit of William Floyd, I believe, or Leonard Floyd, the linebacker for the Bears. So plays like that, the clutchness, the ability to be accurate down the field throwing the football, to make those few throws a game where I go, man, there was nothing there. He had pressure in his face, and he throws a ball 20 yards down the middle of the field, 9 feet off the ground to only where Alshon Jeffrey can get it, and they get it, and they get the first down. I just seen too much of that the last 2 years with Nick Foles. To go, it's phenomenal in that way. And those are really the positives. Hey, some of the negatives, not always the quickest feet, okay? It's not like this big-time, gigantic, great arm. It's a good arm, but it's not a great arm. And, part of the other negatives, too, we're talking about a Super Bowl MVP, is we really haven't seen it sustained through a season here the last 2 years, too. So that makes me knock him down a few spots just for that as well.
You mentioned Super Bowl MVP. And as strong as he was in that game, and I think as much hope as there is, and he's leading that way in Jacksonville, the first thing I think of with Nick Foles still, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks in 2013.
The Chip Kelly year.
Phenomenal.
Right. And I think what shows with Nick Foles is not necessarily a talent that's going to be like, hey, jump on my back, guys, and I'll take over. Okay, he's not that guy. I mean, we saw that the early start of the season last year. The Eagles weren't playing well, and they decided to go with Carson Wentz because they weren't playing well. And I mean, Carson Wentz is the future, but I also think they got, Nick can't get us out of this funk. Carson might be able to pull some magic and make things happen. But what Foles has shown is when you do have a system around him and an offensive line and just some good receivers, he can be deadly that way. And I think that's what I would say watch out for in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's got a very similar mold to the Philadelphia Eagles.
And if you have him this high, I think you must really like the fit.
I do.
Of what he's walking into.
I like the fit, and that's where I was just going with that, because big hulking offensive line, just like the Eagles, really want to run the ball first, just like the Eagles. Oh, you want to crowd the box? Well, we got RPOs, and Nick Foles can stand in the pocket and throw deep posts down the middle 65 yards and strike it if you want to, crowd the line of scrimmage and stop Leonard Fournette. John DeFilippo, he should know the offense. I think there's going to be a lot of similarities to what he did in Philadelphia. Hopefully, DeFilippo will stay consistent with the run, which he didn't do in Minnesota last year. But, yeah, I think Nick Foles has at least proven that if you put a team around him in a system, he can maximize that. He's not necessarily going to be the guy that's like, oh, shit, we're ravaged with injury. injuries and we got nothing, and we need you to be Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes today. No, that's not going to happen.
Who do you think his best weapon will be? Could be running back, could be tight end, could be receiver in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they got a lot of. And let me pull up their roster just a little bit, because they got a lot of guys that are like unproven commodities. But I think the NFL world would go, ooh, there's some talent on that roster. You know, D.D. Westbrook for one.
Yeah.
Okay. Marquise Lee, right, off the bat. All right, so those are two guys where I go, ooh, they're better than I think the nation as a whole realizes. They haven't become household names yet. They drafted DJ Shark in the second round 2 years ago out of LSU. He's got Keelan Cole is there. They got Chris Conley from the Kansas City Chiefs in free agency. So, and they just signed Terrell Pryor. So it's good. It's not great. We're not going to sit here and go, oh, we got to double team Marquise Lee, or no one's going to beat the Jaguars. No, not that. They want to run the ball. They're going to impose their physical will, and they're going to use the tight end in the pass game a little bit and do that and play through their defenses, which they should do.
Yeah, if they can run the ball and play defense the way they want to, Nick can be fine. The receivers can be fine, and they can still get to double-digit wins.
I do. Jacksonville would be one of those teams, and if anybody listened to the podcast I did on Tuesday, I said if you want value bets for, and I don't even know what the odds were for MVP, I said like Garoppolo and Carson Wentz would be those guys where I go, if you want to put out $10 and hope you might win, $1,000, those would be guys I would throw out there. If you wanted to do that, I don't know what the Jaguars' odds were for the year.
Probably not real good.
I would say that would be a team I would bet the odds aren't great, and if you wanted to make a steal betting, I would go watch out for Jacksonville to be in the playoffs and be a major player in the AFC.
15, you finally made it all the way back to an NFC team. Hold on. Oh, I forgot about how we're going to tag
Don't
Nick.
say doppelganger with Nick Foles' name. You get me confused with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's a troublesome issue here at 16. All right, Nick Foles. Who looks like Nick Foles?
Oh, my gosh, it's Napoleon Dynamite.
That's
I never thought about that. There is. You're right. There's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Kurt Abbott.
Okay.
Wins.
I see it a little. I do. Yeah. It's the same eyes and his cheeks a little bit, definitely. Okay.
I had one contribution I think is better. We haven't gotten there yet. Nate Sudfeld. This one got me pre-Super Bowl. I was out there talking to Nate Sudfeld. I thought I was talking to Nick Foles.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of quarterbacks in football are as tall as Nick Foles, and Nate Sudfeld, oddly enough, is one of those that's like up there at 6'6", 6'7". Yeah.
Yeah.
What an idiot you are.
I know. There's mine.
Oh, Tom Petty, I like it.
Tom Petty from the late 70s, early 80s. I think that's the Damn the Torpedoes album cover.
If he grew that hair out like that, you're right. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm proud. I'm proud of that.
Good job. Way to contribute to the pod.
Finally.
You're the man.
1,000 minutes in. Is that it? That's it. Okay.
That was it.
Save the best for last.
Thank you, Pete. Dynamite, right? You've seen that.
Yeah. Who'd you like best?
I think the Napoleon Dynamite one.
Okay. Yeah.
It was close.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.